Millions of Americans are planning to retire at 65, 67, or even later. But new retirement research shows a very different reality. Many people are leaving the workforce earlier than expected, not because they are fully ready, but because of health problems, layoffs, workplace changes, caregiving responsibilities, and unexpected financial pressure. This matters because retiring earlier than planned can affect Social Security decisions, 401k withdrawals, Medicare planning, emergency savings, and long term financial security. So today, we are breaking down what the new retirement data shows, why so many Americans are retiring earlier than expected, and what workers and retirees should pay close attention to now. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we are covering an important retirement planning story that could affect millions of American workers, retirees, near retirees, caregivers, and families. A new retirement risk survey from the Society of Actuaries Research Institute found that 59% of surveyed retirees left the workforce earlier than they had expected, while only 6% retired later than planned. The report also found that health changes were a major reason for earlier retirement, especially among lower income retirees. This is not just a financial planning issue, it is a real life issue. Many people believe they can fix retirement savings gaps by working a few extra years, but the data shows that working longer is not always fully under a person's control. For many Americans, retirement planning is built around one big assumption: I will keep working until I'm ready. But that assumption can be risky. A worker may plan to retire at 67, but a health problem could force retirement at 62. A company may downsize, a spouse may need care, an aging parent may need help, a physically demanding job may become harder to continue, or a worker may lose employment before they are financially prepared. The Employee Benefit Research Institute's 2026 Retirement Confidence Survey also shows a gap between expectation and reality. Workers reported a median expected retirement age of 65, while retirees reported a median actual retirement age of 62. The same report said many retirees left work earlier than planned, often for reasons outside their control, including health problems, disability, and workplace changes. That 3 year gap can make a major difference. It can mean three fewer years of saving, three more years of spending from retirement accounts, an earlier Social Security claiming decision, and possibly a need to pay for health insurance before Medicare eligibility. The key finding is simple but powerful. Many Americans do not retire exactly when they expect to. According to the Society of Actuaries Research Institute, nearly 6 in 10 retirees said they retired earlier than expected. The survey also found that financial shocks are affecting pre retirees, with 29% of pre retirees reporting a family emergency that required using 10% or more of their savings. Caregiving is another major issue. The same SOA report found that 35% of pre retirees and 29% of retirees said they may need caregiving in the future, but nearly half of those individuals had not made plans for those needs. This means many families are facing two retirement risks at the same time. First, they may have to retire earlier than planned. Second, they may later face caregiving or long term care costs that they did not prepare for. The EBRI survey adds another important detail. Among retirees who retired earlier than planned, 41% said a health problem or disability was the reason. 35% pointed to company changes such as downsizing, closure, or reorganization, and 16% said they had to care for a spouse or another family member. This shows that early retirement is not always a choice. In many cases, it is a forced adjustment. For years, many retirement experts have encouraged Americans to work longer if they have not saved enough. That advice can be helpful in some cases. Working longer can allow a person to save more, delay Social Security, reduce the number of years they need to depend on retirement savings, and stay covered by employer health insurance. But the problem is that not everyone can work longer. A person's health may change, an employer may restructure, a worker may be laid off in their late 50s or early 60s, a caregiver role may become unavoidable, or a job may become too physically or mentally demanding. JP Morgan Asset Management's 2026 retirement guide also warns that people may not have complete control over when they retire. It recommends having a backup plan that can include disability protection, emergency savings, and preparation for unexpected retirement. That is the central message of this story. Retirement planning should not only ask, when do I want to retire? It should also ask, what happens if I have to retire earlier than planned? This story matters because early retirement can affect nearly every major financial decision. First, it can reduce savings. If someone planned to work until 67 but retires at 62, they may lose 5 years of 401k, IRA, or pension contributions. Second, it can increase withdrawals. Retiring earlier may force a person to begin drawing from retirement accounts sooner than expected. Third, it can affect Social Security. Claiming Social Security early can reduce monthly benefits compared with waiting until full retirement age or later. For many retirees, this decision becomes difficult when income stops earlier than expected. Fourth, it can create a healthcare gap. Medicare generally begins at age 65. If someone leaves work at 62 and loses employer health coverage, they may need another health insurance option before Medicare starts. Fifth, it can increase pressure on families. If early retirement is caused by illness, disability, layoffs, or caregiving, the household may be dealing with both emotional stress and financial pressure at the same time. This is why the issue is bigger than retirement savings alone. It is about resilience. Imagine a 60-year-old worker who plans to retire at 67. They are still saving into a 401k. They expect to delay Social Security. They believe they have 7 more years to prepare. But then their company downsizes, or they develop a health condition that makes full-time work difficult, or their spouse needs care. Suddenly, retirement does not begin on their planned timeline. It begins because life forced the decision. For many families, this can mean cutting expenses, using emergency savings, drawing from retirement accounts earlier, changing housing plans, delaying medical care, helping adult children less, or depending more heavily on Social Security. This is especially important for lower income workers who may have fewer savings, less access to financial advice, and more physically demanding jobs. The SOA report specifically noted that health status changes were the primary reason for earlier retirement among lower income retirees. That means early retirement risk is not evenly distributed. It can hit hardest among people who already have the least room for financial error. The professional takeaway is clear. Retirement plans need stress testing. A strong retirement plan should not only be based on the best case scenario, it should also test difficult questions. What if retirement happens 3 to 5 years early? What if a health issue limits work? What if a spouse or parent needs care? What if the stock market falls near retirement? What if inflation stays higher than expected? What if Social Security becomes the main income source earlier than planned? J.P. Morgan's Retirement Guide highlights the importance of emergency savings, noting that retirees may face larger spending shocks because of unpredictable costs such as healthcare. It suggests retirees consider setting aside several months of income to handle unexpected expenses. This does not mean everyone should panic, but it does mean workers should avoid building a retirement plan on one perfect assumption. For people in their 40s, 50s, and early 60s, this story is a warning to prepare earlier. That may include increasing retirement contributions where possible, reducing high interest debt, reviewing health insurance options, understanding Social Security claiming rules, building emergency savings, and discussing caregiving responsibilities with family before a crisis happens. For current retirees, it may mean reviewing spending, protecting cash reserves, understanding healthcare costs, and making sure long term care and caregiving plans are realistic. The biggest mistake is assuming that retirement timing is fully controllable. The data shows that for many Americans, it is not. So the main message from this story is simple. Many Americans are not retiring exactly when they planned. Health problems, layoffs, company changes, and caregiving responsibilities are pushing many people out of the workforce earlier than expected. For retirees and near retirees, this is a reminder that retirement planning should include more than savings targets and investment returns. It should include emergency planning, healthcare planning, Social Security strategy, caregiving preparation, and a backup plan for early retirement. because the real question is not only whether someone can afford the retirement they want, it is whether they are prepared for the retirement they may actually get. Do you think most Americans are financially prepared if they are forced to retire earlier than planned? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this update useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, this video is for general information only. It is not financial, tax, legal, or investment advice. For personal retirement decisions, consider checking official sources and speaking with a qualified professional.